And it was just another day, yeah.
Just another day.
Until I went to the movies, and now it's a movie
Tuesday.
A movie Chewsday. Until a movie Chewsday.
Yellow, welcome to Movie Chewsday. Sorry for the long wait, but some holidays been happening, like Christmas. I celebrate Christmas, so it was a pretty busy week for me, as well as everyone else, I'm guessing, who celebrates Christmas. Just it's been crazy at work, all kinds of stuff. But I'm here. I made it before the end of the year. Okay. So let's just go ahead and get to the news. This is some old news too. Damn. Anyway, it doesn't matter because we're all here for the whole Rogue One discussion, but we'll get to that. Just have a little bit of patience. So, movie news. Patrick Wilson has been cast as a villain for the Aquaman movie. Cool. I mean, the Aquaman part. I'm not a huge Aquaman fan. Don't know that much about Aquaman, except that he talks to fish and that he's pretty much been a joke in the superhero world. Except for recently, I think like they started changing that around in New 52, but I still haven't read any Aquaman comics. So, can't really comment on, being excited for that or not. I do want to see the movie, though. I like Jason Momoa. I also like James Wan. So, I would be interested to see what he brings to the table as far as superhero movies go. I think that his style could actually fit with the DC movies. How DC kind of likes to do things a little bit more realistic and not go so hard into the comic bookiness of their movies, except for the fucking third act of their movies apparently. But I like Patrick Wilson. I think he's a great actor. I like his work. He's actually really good as a villain. If you ever seen the movie Hard Candy, he plays a pretty good villain in that movie. But basically his whole thing for being in Aquaman is just that James Wan is directing it. He pretty much went out and said that, I'm a really big fan of his work, which is why I'm in so many of his movies. So when I found out he was doing Aquaman, I had to be in it. So, that's cool. The real question, what I'm trying to figure out is, if James Wan ends up walking away from the project, does Patrick Wilson go with him? Because as of recent, or lately, it seems like DC movies have been kind of having some problems with their directors. I mean, I know that Zack Snyder is still at the helm for a lot of the stuff, but I do remember there being some talk where people were talking about maybe he doesn't need to be directing any fucking movies. So, I don't agree with that. I like Zack Snyder as a director. But I think The Flash and Aquaman lost their original directors, right? So they're kind of starting to build up a thing here where their movies can't really hang on to their directors unless they're Zack Snyder. So still ways to be seen on if James Wan is going to fully be directing this thing. I don't know if they started production or anything on the movie yet. But either way, that's cool, man. It's cool that Patrick Wilson's on their project, so I look forward to seeing that movie when it comes out. I mean, I guess I need to see a preview first, because if the movie looks like shit, I'm not going to go see it. Other news, and I want to credit my buddy Steve for telling me this. I did not even fact check it. I'm just going to shoot it out there because from what he told me, it sounds like something that actually would happen and has happened. So apparently with with the new Fast and the Furious movie, which we'll get to in a bit, with the new Fast and Furious movie, Vin Diesel's character Dominic Toretto has gone to the dark side. Charlize Theron is the main villain in this movie, and apparently her character has some kind of like secret past with Toretto, so she ends up coming into the picture in this movie, and that makes Toretto kind of go over to her side and turn against his team. And so my buddy Steve had told me that people were so upset by this, like not just any people, Fast and the Furious, like diehard fans, people were so upset by this that they were hitting up Vin Diesel on his Twitter, like trolling him, I guess, talking about like, what about family, man? How could you do that? How could you turn your back on family? Like, you're the main one who talks about family, you just turned your back on it. What the fuck, you know? Now, like I said, I didn't fact check this. I didn't go on his Twitter to see if this was actually happening. But like I said, it sounds like something that fans would do, because let's be honest, like hardcore fans are crazy as fuck when it comes to this shit, okay? But here's what I want to say right now. If it is serious, if you guys are like legitimately upset about his character turning evil, calm the fuck down, okay? But as a fan of the Fast and Furious franchise myself, I will say it is kind of strange that this character who's been like talking about family and stuff and back in the, beating the shit out of Brian O'Connor for turning his back on him and, finding out he was like a cop or FBI agent and shit. He's always just running around talking about family and family comes first and don't fuck with my family or I'll kill you and all this other stuff. It is kind of weird that he's gone to the dark side. But I think we all know that it's all a ruse. I'm pretty sure he's just doing this to kind of like keep them from getting killed from Charlize Theron's character. That's my guess. I'm pretty sure that's what the movie will build up to. But I mean, at the end of the day too, like I guess this, I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, we'll just have to wait and see when it comes out. So from there, going straight into the trailers, saw the trailer for Fate of the Furious. Let me just say right now, it's a great title for a movie. Okay, it's a really good title. I think this is the first time that they didn't just call it like Fast and Furious or the Fast and the Furious, because if you haven't noticed, like the movies have been kind of going in this order where it's like the first movie is called The Fast and the Furious, and then the second movie is Too Fast, Too Furious, where they kind of like play around with the words. And then the movie after that was The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. And then after that, it was just Fast and Furious and, and so on and so on, Fast 5 and then Fast and Furious 6. So like they've been kind of like taking turns with the titles, but like this is the one where they kind of play. They keep the Fast and Furious kinda, but then they change around one word to just say the fate of the Furious, so there's kind of like a mix of the two. That's cool. I like the title of the movie, okay? Way better than Triple X, The Return of Xander Cage. The movie looks asinine as usual. The funniest thing ever while watching the trailer, because I was watching with my girlfriend, and there's a part in the trailer where they're like driving and they're running away from somebody, the whole crew, and somebody like rigs a wrecking ball to like fall down, and they all kind of move to the side, and the wrecking ball barrels over the cars that are chasing them. So like my girlfriend watches that part, and she's literally like, "Oh, well now they're just getting too ridiculous." So like I had to like stop and stare at her, and I was just like, "Are you serious? Did you not see the movies before this? Like they've been ridiculous, like I said, I'm waiting for them to go into space. I'm pretty sure that's still gonna happen. But the movie looks ridiculous, as in it looks good and very entertaining. I can't wait for it to come out. So yeah, Charlize Theron is banging as usual. I mean, honestly, dude, like, can we really blame Toretto for going over to the dark side? I mean, it's Charlize Theron, for Christ's sake. I'd dump my girlfriend for Charlize Theron. So yeah, I said it. But yeah, it looks good. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with the character of Brian O'Connor, because I read a story a while back where the filmmakers of the Fast and the Furious franchise were talking about how Brian O'Connor could still show up in the movies with like the whole digital effects and shit. Like if they actually want to like physically show him, or maybe just have like some comment or reference to him in the movie where one of the characters are probably going to be like, oh, well, how's Brian doing? You know, they might do stuff like that. Or because in another video series that I do called Bad Art, I was talking about this where in Fast and the Furious 7 or Furious 7, whatever the fuck it's called, in that movie, I really didn't like the way they kind of gave his character an exit. I thought that was kind of cheap. You know, just the whole fact that, you know, just because he has a kid now that he gets to have a pass and he gets to like leave the group. I was just like, I don't really like that. I don't necessarily think that they should have killed off his character, but I think the way they gave his character the exit, I thought was a little janky, you know, just because his character was so well ingrained with the team. I just really find it hard for them to just be like, well, you got a kid now, so you got to bounce. So that means like if anybody else in that team has a kid, like do they automatically get to be like, all right, guys, like I got my kid, I'm out. Enough of this crazy ass shit of dropping out of planes and jumping across freeways to catch people in midair, you know? So I think that's cool that they'll still have his character ingrained in the movie somehow, some way, where, like I was saying, like if it ever gets to a point where the team gets into trouble, I would like him to at least have like Brian call up and be like, hey, you guys need me? And they're like, no, Brian, fuck off. Like, we don't need you. Go away, you know? So I go as far as even say, dude, just to recast the character, honestly. I'm just, you know, I don't want to sound disrespectful or anything, but I feel like, you know, that character is way too important. You might as well just recast him. It's been done before, and it's not like the end of the world to recast a character. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody would understand why you got to like recast somebody for that character. So that's just me though. I don't know. But other than that, movie looks good. Can't wait for it to come out. I forgot when the date was that it's dropping, but I don't know. Next trailer that I watched was Transformers 5, The Last Night. This trailer is really hard to talk about because I honestly can't remember what the hell I saw in that trailer. I remember seeing Optimus Prime float around in space. So I guess like after he flew off in the last movie, he must have got his ass kicked or something, or maybe he just ran out of gas or energon, whatever the hell he's running off of. I don't know. I also remember seeing Maki Mach and what else did I see? I saw something that resembles Unicron. I'm pretty sure it's Unicron. It was like a robotic looking planet floating around in space, and I feel like that has to be Unicron. So yeah, and just based off of that information, I'm going to go see the movie. And with that, I would like to apologize to all the people out there who don't like the Transformers movies. Because I'm apologizing because I'm going to go see that movie. And I realize that I'm a part of the problem because I have gone to see most of the Transformers movies in theaters. And, I'm sorry. But don't get me wrong. I'm with you. I think Transformers movies are not great. From a technological standpoint, they look fantastic. I'll give you a quick run through of all the movies. The first Transformers movie wasn't good. The second Transformers movie was so bad that it made me like the first Transformers movie. The third Transformers movie was pretty decent. And quick side note for that, and this is one of the things that made me really see that I was a lucky man to have the woman in my life. when I was first dating my girlfriend, I invited her over to the house, and because I had bought the third Transformers movie, Dark Side of the Moon, and we watched it together. And that was my first time watching it because after Transformers 2, I was like, fuck this. I'm not seeing any more Transformers movies in theaters, right? These movies are garbage. And so I bought the third movie, though, just because I'm a sucker for Michael Bay movies and I'm a sucker for good special effects, okay? Because say what you want about those movies, say what you want about how the Transformers look, those special effects are amazing, all right? But I bought the third movie, and I watched it, and this is spoilers, but honestly, like, this movie's old as fuck now, statute of limitations and all that shit. If you haven't seen it by now, you don't want to see it. So there's a part in the movie at the end where Optimus Prime is fighting the evil robot. I forgot his name. He was like a Prime, no. I can't remember his name, but like, no. Well, yeah, they were fighting. They were fighting each other, right? And Optimus Prime got his ass kicked, and it got to the point where he was on the ground, and the evil robot was going in for the kill, and Optimus Prime, like, reached up or whatever, and was like, please, like, literally begging for his life, okay? I was so pissed off that I jumped up and was just raging out in front of this chick that I had been dating for not that long, but, like, I was raging out, like, full-blown, 100% nerdy rage out, talk about, why the fuck is he begging for his life? It's Optimus Prime, for Christ's sake. Why are they making him act like a fucking pussy? Right? And, so, you know, but she forgave that. I mean, she obviously knew what she was dealing with at the time. I feel like she got the full picture where she was like, yeah, I don't have to worry about this dude being snatched by anybody else, so I'll just go ahead and take him. Like, but yeah, dude, that part happened. I was pissed. But overall, like, I thought the third movie was decent. I went to go see Transformers 4 in theaters, and I only went for one reason and one reason only, and it was because I heard that they were going to have Galvatron in the movie. And Galvatron is one of my favorite Transformers in the Transformers universe. He's one of them, not the favorite, but he's one of my favorite. And I heard he was going to be in that movie, so I went to go see it. He was in the movie. He wasn't what I expected him to be. I completely understood. I was just happy that they put Galvatron in the damn movie. All right. Didn't like the way he was represented, but I was happy he was in the movie. And I'm telling you all this because that's the same reason why I'm going to go see Transformers 5, because I heard that my favorite Transformer is going to be in the movie, and that Transformer's name is Hot Rod. Okay, yes, I love Hot Rod. And if you have never heard of Galvatron or Hot Rod, you need to do yourself a favor and go get Transformers, the movie, the one that was made like back in the 80s or some shit. It's an animated movie that is, till this day, the best Transformers movie ever. Okay, I'm not even going to ruin it for you. I'm just going to tell you to go watch that movie if you haven't seen it. If you got a huge problem with the Transformers movies, go watch that movie and you'll be happy. Have a Coke and a smile. But I heard that Hot Rod was going to be in Transformers 5, so I'm going to see it. I'm also excited to see Unicron, if that is Unicron, in the movie. So yes, I am going to go see Transformers 5. I do not remember a damn thing I saw in that preview. It was just a whole bunch of explosions and robots jumping around and floating around through space all rusted and shit, and buildings and everything blowing up and blah, blah, blah. Michael Bay movie, yada, yada, yada. I don't care. I'm going to go see it. And as for all you Michael Bay haters out there, stop lying to yourselves, okay? Now, I'm not saying that everything he makes is gold. I'm not saying that at all. Because like we just established, the Transformers movies suck. And honestly, I wouldn't be mad if they got a new director to take a shot at those movies. But Michael Bay is still the man in my book. All right, he's not perfect, but he's still the shit. Don't act like you didn't like The Rock. Don't act like you didn't like Armageddon. Don't act like you didn't like Bad Boys 1 and 2. Don't act like you didn't like Pain and Gain. That shit is recent, okay? Michael Bay is a shit. He's a good director. And, you know, honestly, props to him for having the balls to do a Transformers movie. Because I don't see anybody else running around here doing Transformers movies, you know? And he's making billions of dollars with that franchise, or that franchise made billions of dollars thanks to him. So obviously the studios ain't getting rid of him anytime soon. But like I said, if anybody else wants to step up and try and do it, be my guest. But at the end of the day, stop hating on Michael Bay. Dude's still legit. Transformers movie sucked though. So with that, that's the trailers. Let's get into the movies. Ladies and gentlemen, I have finally finished the 8 Films to Die For movie series. It was a long and arduous task, but I achieved it. We'll start with Mulberry Street. So Mulberry Street is about this. It's pretty much a zombie movie, but there's a twist. It's not just zombies. It's like mutated zombie rat people. Okay, there's like this small section in New York. It looks like it was, I want to say it was Harlem, but I don't think it was Harlem. I don't know New York. But anyway, there was this apartment building with all these different people in it, and there's this outbreak that breaks out, and people are like slowly turning into zombie rat people. I'm going to go ahead and take a wild guess and say that something happened with the rats where they must have bit somebody. I can't exactly remember what caused the spread, but it obviously came from rats. I don't know what the rats were doing. They were probably just being rats and blah, blah, blah. But people around town are turning into zombie rat people. And they're slowly killing people left and right as the virus spreads further and further out in New York, right? It mainly takes place in this apartment complex or in this apartment building. And, I mean, the movie was actually pretty entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. It's one of those movies where it looks like somebody just took a handy cam and called up some friends and said, "Yo, dog, I want to make a movie about zombie rats. You down?" They were like, "Yeah, I'm down." And they just started shooting it. Like the quality, the cinematic quality is not that great, but the movie is still entertaining. The acting's not that great either. It's worth watching just to see this one guy who I guess like used to be like his character. He used to be a boxer. So like in the beginning of the movie, they just kind of show him like running around the block and stuff, training, shadow boxing on top of the roof and everything. And eventually it gets to the point in the movie where, there's all kinds of like weapons like bats and hammers and shit. But this motherfucker tapes up his hands, goes out into the streets, and like literally beats the shit out of rat zombie people. It's fucking hilarious. Like, cause like this chick in his apartment complex ends up getting like stuck at her job, and she's kind of like trapped or whatever. So he goes to rescue her. So he like tapes up his hands, runs on the street, and goes after her. And like on his way to her, he'll like hear somebody screaming in the alley getting attacked by the zombie rat people, and he like just stops and goes in the alley, snatches off the zombie and beats the shit out of him, literally puts his fist through his head and kills it. It was hilarious. I think the movie's worth watching just for that part. Other than that, like, the movie's okay. Would I recommend watching it? If it's Halloween and you want something to laugh at, I'd say watch it, but like, it's not like this end all be all movie. It's not like this must watch movie in my opinion, but it's pretty entertaining. The only real problem that I have with it is that it's really dark. Not like tone wise, it's dark. Like, well, I guess it is kind of dark tone wise. It kind of turns some things on its head. I thought the movie was going to be pretty predictable, but I was actually surprised a few times. But I mean, like, dark visually, like I said, it just looks like somebody took a camera and maybe their flash was broke or whatever. So there's a lot of scenes where you're watching it and it's just like super dark and you can't really tell what's going on all the time. And I got really good eyesight. So the fact that I'm complaining about a movie being too dark is something to think about. So, but other than that, man, Mulberry Street, very, very entertaining. I'd recommend watching it just for entertainment purposes, but just don't take it too seriously. Next up is The Deaths of Ethan Stone. Wait, my bad. Is it Ethan or is it Ian? It's Ian. It's got to be Ian. I don't feel like getting up to check. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that it's Ian, but I'll correct it in the details below the video if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure it's Ian Stone. This movie is about this guy. It's kind of hard to explain because I don't want to ruin it for you, because I do recommend watching this movie. This movie is about this guy who is getting chased by this monster / ghostly type figure, and it like chases him around and it kills him. Hence the name, The Deaths of Ian Stone. So like the monster chases him around and it kills him, and he wakes up in like a different life. Like he's the same person, like he's still him, but he's in like a new role in life. So like he starts out being like a hockey player, and then he dies, and then he wakes up in like an office building doing like fucking cubicle shit, right? And he like he doesn't really remember what happened to him. He like slowly starts to remember what happened in his past life. And then, and then the monster like shows up again trying to kill him. So he's like running away from him and shit. So like, that's what the movie's about. That's like the general synopsis of it. The mystery is trying to figure out what the fuck the monster is and why it's chasing him and why the hell he keeps waking up in a different like life or whatever. And, so that was pretty interesting. I thought that was cool. This movie was probably like the best one out of the 8 movies that I watched. I would rank them, but I can't remember all the names. So maybe like next time I'll rank them. But I will say like this was probably like the best one. Like if I had to pick like a top 3 of the movies that I watched, this would be number 1. The Nightmare Man will be number 2. And number 3 will probably be... let me try and remember. Maybe like Borderland. I remember Borderland. Maybe that one. I probably picked those 3. I'm not sure. I gotta go back. Or the Unearthed one. There was that one too, wasn't it? But definitely like this one, the Deaths of Ian Stone. This was like my favorite one out of the movies. Now, there is some problems with it where I think like when they explain what's going on in the movie, and they do explain stuff, I feel like they don't fully explain how the shit that's happening, they don't fully explain how it works, Like I said, I don't want to spoil it for you, so I gotta be really vague here. But they explain what's happening with his situation, but beyond that, they don't really do a great job at explaining what's happening and how shit's working out. You know what I mean? So go watch the movie, hit me up, and I'll tell you like what I'm talking about. Okay, you know the drill. Because I don't want to ruin anything for you. There's no sense in me recommending you watching a movie after I just sit and tell you every damn thing that happens in the movie. That's dumb. It doesn't make sense. But like I said, the story's interesting. I really liked it. The special effects were actually really good. I was really impressed with the special effects. Like out of all the movies I've watched, this one probably had the best. This is definitely one of those movies where I could see coming on like the Sci-Fi Channel. And not like corny sci-fi effects. I mean like legit sci-fi, like how their shows are now with like Dark Matter and what was that other one, Helix and shit. Like the special effects were really good, and it was a nice mix of digital and practical effects, which that I like. When the two can mesh. Like we deep in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? The monster that's running around and chasing them and killing them and shit, like that shit looked good. It looked creepy sometimes, so I really dug it. Yeah, the deaths of Ian Stone. Highly recommend watching that movie. I'd watch it again. I'm proud to be the owner of it. The other thing that I liked about it too, because like with him dying and waking up in a different life, it kind of reminded me of a personal experience that I went through where I experienced something very similar to that. And it's very weird. So every time it kept happening to him, I kind of like felt that much more closer to the character, because I was just like, yeah, I know what you're going through there, buddy. I know exactly what you're going through. So that's probably why I ended up liking the movie so much too. So now, let's get to the topic of the show. Maybe you would have noticed by the title of the damn video, okay? I went to go see Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Now, if you remember back with previous videos, I had some worries going into this, okay? There were 3 things I was worried about with this movie. Actually 4. 1, it was directed by Gareth Edwards. Now, I don't know too much of his backlog of movies or his repertoire of movies that he's done, but I do know that he was the director of Godzilla, the latest Godzilla movie, and that movie fucking sucked, okay? I did not like that movie whatsoever. That was one of those movies where I really regretted seeing it, and I really regretted being the type of person where it's really hard for me to fall asleep in a movie or get up and walk out on a movie. I'm the type of person that has to sit there and bear through the bullshit of a movie, no matter how bullshit it is. Like, I was not impressed with that movie. So when I heard that he was making a Star Wars movie, I shuddered. I literally shuddered, okay? I'm sorry, Gareth, but that's just how I feel. But that was my first worry. My second worry was that they did reshoots for the movie. They did reshoots because they felt that the movie was too dark, so they had to lighten it up. So they had to go back, do reshoots, and lighten up the movie a little bit. So that was my second worry. My third was that seeing snippets of the previews, like, the movie looked like it was shot really well. Like, there's a lot of really good shots of the film, and I was really impressed with them. But my worry was that, this movie might not be as good as it looks. And then my last worry of the movie was that Darth Vader was going to be in it. They show him in the trailers, so that's not a spoiler at all. That was my last worry, was that Darth Vader was going to be in the movie, and I thought he was going to chew up a lot of the movie. Like, I thought it was going to mainly revolve around him. I am happy to say that all of that shit ended up being for naught. I worried for absolutely nothing. Well, I wouldn't say absolutely nothing, but I ended up liking the movie a lot. Gareth Edwards, I thought, did a really good job. I feel like the criticism that he got from Godzilla, he went into this movie and like knocked it out of the park. I thought the movie did a really good job at like separating itself from the mainline Star Wars movies. I thought the movie was shot really well. I thought the movie was done well across the board. Like, the writing, the dialogue, like all that shit. Like, it was good. It was all good. Thumbs up all over. What was the other worry? The tone of the movie, like, here's the thing. It's because, like I said, when they first started talking about this movie, their goal was that they wanted to do like a gritty war movie set in the Star Wars universe. And, they did that. Even with the reshoots, like there definitely scenes I feel like I could tell where those were the reshoots, because there were scenes in the movie that were like, I felt were really dark and had like a heavy weight to them as to what was happening, but due to how certain characters were acting within the scene and the music that they were playing in the scene, it lightened it up a little bit, and it kind of made it a little janky when I was watching it. And I immediately was just like, I wonder if this was one of the scenes that they reshot to like lighten the movie up. But even with that in there, I think overall the movie was still pretty dark. Like there was still a lot of things that happened where I was just like, holy shit, like did they just do that? Like it was crazy. So that happened. Darth Vader is, he did not steal the movie whatsoever. The movie did not revolve around him. He had a couple scenes, and it was enough to just be like, here he is, and this is why he's here, and this is what he's doing, and then bam, we're back to the crux of the movie of what it's really about, which is about this team of people who were on a mission to get the fucking Death Star plans so they can blow that shit up in A New Hope. You know what I'm talking about? And so they did that. And that was great. I liked it. Now, the movie is not perfect whatsoever. The characters in the movie. Now, here's the tricky part, okay? The characters in the movie, this team of rebels who went on this mission, great. Every single one of them. Like, legit Star Wars characters. Problem is, I can't tell you any of their names outside of Jyn Erso, who is the main protagonist of the movie, and the droid. Pretty sure his name was K2. And the only reason I probably remember him is because he was a standout character in the movie, which is kind of sad because it's a CG character. And so yeah. Speaking of CG characters, once again, ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, I think they are second to none when it comes to visual effects, okay? Feel like when you want the best, you call them. But they were also the people that worked on the Warcraft movie. And if you remember my complaints with the Warcraft movie, it was that the special effects are done really well, but it's up until the point where these characters are actually interacting with real life characters where it starts to look a little janky. Not janky, but like you can clearly tell that it's CG. And it's not just the robot that is CG, and that's completely understandable to why he would be a CG character, but there's actual people in the movie that are CG, and you can tell. Now, granted, I have talked to other people who have seen the movie, and they were telling me, they were like, oh shit, like I thought that was a real person. And so I don't know, man, maybe it's just me. Like I'm good at like telling like if something is real or not usually, but I felt like, although the CG humans looked really good, at the end of the day, it's still just like it didn't quite fit. But with that being said as well, I think real life actors are in danger, okay? Because we're to the point, like, for example, dude, with the Marvel movies, I'm really like racking my brain trying to figure out who can replace Robert Downey Jr. I mean, if it were up to me, Robert Downey Jr. would be Iron Man forever. But eventually there's going to come a time where he hangs up his armor and somebody else is going to have to take up the mantle. At this point, dude, if they want it, like, Disney could just be like, you know what, Robert, sign off on the dotted line. We're going to fucking put some balls on your face. We're going to put balls all over your body. And we're going to fucking digitize you. And you're going to be Iron Man forever. Okay? We just need you to do some voice work. And even then, like, we'll find some way around that shit. Like, it's to the point now where it's like we kind of don't need real actors anymore. I'm just putting it out there. But at the end of the day, you're safe for a little bit longer. But Industrial Light and Magic, you guys are getting there. You're not quite there yet, but you're getting there to the point where you're going to put real actors out of business. At least, like, physically. Like, you can still use them for voice work, but physically you're kind of threatening their life's work, you know. But other than that, dude, like the CG I thought was really good, like with the space battles and, you know, the on the ground battles and everything and all the little characters and stuff like that. All that shit's done really good, but I just think they kind of overstep their bounds a little bit when they get like legit real life characters digitized. You know, I get why they had to do it, but at the end of the day, it's just like you're there, but you're not quite there yet. Speaking of overstepping their bounds, another problem I had with the movie was the fan service. There's like a lot of little references and little snippets of things that show up in the movie that hark back to the original movies, or, you know, and I just like like a couple of them are okay. There's one that I kind of like giggled, but at the end of the day, I was just kind of like, you could have just left that out. You didn't need to put that in there, okay? Like, I get that you're having fun and all that, but this is war, okay? We got to get serious. You don't need to be putting all this shit in here. Like, so cut it out. What else with the movie? That's like my main grievances with the movie, was just that, you know, just some little nitpicky stuff, but still big stuff when you think about it. The music was good. Shout out to Michael Giacchino. I thought he did a really good job with kind of like taking John Williams' score and kind of like tweaking it a little bit to make it feel like a Star Wars movie musically, you know, because the music in Star Wars is very important. It's about as important as the sound effects in Star Wars, okay? The foley, if you will. Pretty sure that's what it's called. But yeah, that stuff was good. As far as like the movie overall, like I loved it. I thought it was really great. I'm working on some movie of the year stuff right now, and I was like dead set for the longest on Avengers Civil War being like movie of the year. But now that I've seen this movie, it's gotten to the point where this is in the running. This is definitely going to give Civil War a run for its money when I sit down and really break down the movies of the year category video thing. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was really good. Like, believe the hype this time, okay? It's a really good movie. I think this movie is so good that I'm down to even take my girlfriend to go see it, and she can't stand Star Wars. She's not into it, but I feel like this movie is not only a good Star Wars movie, it's just a good movie in general. Like, it's a good war movie. Like, this is kind of up there with like Saving Private Ryan type shit. So props to Gareth Edwards, props to Disney, props to everyone involved with the movie. Like, really good job. When I went to go see this movie, the way I felt watching it was the way I wanted to feel when I went to go see episode 7. I don't know if I ever talked about it before, but I was like really disappointed with episode 7. Like, I feel like it was a good movie, but overall I was just highly disappointed with it because they pretty much just reshot A New Hope with new characters, and I was really let down by that. And like, with this movie, with Rogue One using the original movies as a crutch to move it along, it's understandable because this is like the first Star Wars movie that's been done that's like a new story that has nothing, that doesn't really have, it doesn't like, it folds into the original trilogy really good, but it's like, it's not like a mainline movie. It's a side thing. It's a side movie, and that's one of the projects that Disney wants to do, is they want to start doing these anthology movies, and that's a really big risk to do when people are so accustomed to seeing like mainline Star Wars movies. So it makes sense to play it safe and use the original movies as a crutch. And I feel like with episode 7, they missed a really huge opportunity to like start anew with Star Wars for like the new generation and not like have to reach back into the old generation to like help it along. I felt like it was a really big waste to do that with episode 7. And with Rogue One, it's completely understandable to why they would do it. And this movie does a really good job at like telling you or like showing you that they can do side stories with Star Wars. And I really look forward to when they actually do a side story Star Wars movie and not have it have anything to do with the Skywalker family. Like I feel like one of the things that Star Wars needs to do is they need to get away from the Skywalkers and tell a completely new story that has nothing to do with the mainline movies. Okay, you can have your Jedi, you can have your lightsabers, you can have your Sith Lords and all that, but it's like, let's just leave the fucking Skywalkers alone, for Christ's sake. Okay, they need a break. It's called Star Wars. It's a big ass galaxy. All right, I know faster than light travel exists in this world, but go on the other side of the galaxy and tell a new story. All right, that's all I'm saying. I'm gonna leave it at that. With that, you know, I mean, the movie's been out. If you haven't seen it by now, what the fuck is wrong with you? Unless, of course, you just don't like Star Wars. I completely understand. But if you haven't seen this movie, you know, maybe you were busy like me with Christmas and all that. But if you haven't seen this movie, get up, go see this movie ASAP. I think you will like it. After you see it, come back here, leave me a comment, or email me or something. Hit you the information at the end of the video. Let me know what you think. With that, I'm pretty much done, man. You know, said my piece. Said what I had to say. So, you know, this is going to be the last movie Chewsday for 2016. Gonna go and get ready to do this movie of the year stuff. So look out for that video. It's going to be happening in the near future. Just breaking some things down. I've seen a lot of movies in 2016. Some were good, some were bad, some were spectacular, some were amazing. But I gotta break it all down. And eventually I will put it out, and I hope you'll enjoy it. Until then, hit me up on Twitter at the Chewels. Hit me up on Instagram at ChewVision. Email me chewels85@gmail.com. Leave a comment below if you want. Do what you like, people. Till then, that was Movie Chewsday. Now it is just another day. And seeing as how this is the last Movie Chewsday for 2016, and by the time you watch this, it'll probably be 2017. You will not be able to spend New Year's with me, sadly. But just in case you are watching this on New Year's Eve, Happy New Year.
And it was just another day, yeah. Just another day. Until I went to the movies, now it's a movie Tuesday. A movie Tuesday. Until a movie Tuesday.